About 4 years ago, I made a video on this channel basically asking the question, is YouTube a legitimate full-time job? And I honestly answered, yes, it is. Anything where you're making an income and you're effectively having to pay tax on that income and declare it and everything else associated with that, it's a job. But recently there's been some really disturbing things happening on YouTube, and it brings into question the reputation of this platform for the entire creator community. I've been affected by this problem. I know of many other creators who have been affected by this problem. YouTube don't seem to care, and now I'm questioning whether it's worth uploading any more videos onto YouTube at all. Hiya folks, welcome back to the show. I'm Andy Mack and I've been running small businesses in the UK for pretty much my entire adult life. Now this video is specific about YouTube, but it affects you even as a small business owner, because you probably want to use platforms such as YouTube to either advertise your business using, for example, AdWords, and it might affect you because you make content on YouTube to promote your business, and of course you might be a full-time content creator such as myself. So whichever of these three camps you fit into, this video will be relevant to you. Now, I've been making videos on YouTube for almost 12 years, so I've seen all of the various problems come and go over the time. I've seen so many videos that YouTube's about to die and is this the end of YouTube, blah, blah, blah. It never happens, and it's not really something I've concerned myself with. But this latest problem is not only concerning, but it's slightly sinister as well. To cut a long story short, YouTube have basically killed this YouTube channel. I logged onto my channel analytics, and in a tiny, tiny little box at the top of the screen, it just said, ads have been limited on this channel due to invalid traffic, or words to such effect. I've had no email communication about it, no big warning messages or anything like that, just this tiny little thing at the top of the screen. I honestly didn't really know what it meant until I looked at how much this channel was now making, and basically the revenue that this channel is now making is 70% lower than it used to be. For all intents and purposes, I'm now not really being paid anything to make videos on this channel. And you know, I'm not professing that my videos are the best videos in the world or anything like that, but I was literally the first channel on YouTube to make a video about completing a UK tax return back in the day. I was one of the first videos on YouTube to make videos about how to open challenger bank accounts. I'm probably one of the only channels that has gone into the intricacies of how HMRC's online tax system works. So you know, this is a serious channel. It's all about people setting up in business, specifically in the UK, and it's me offloading everything I've learned over the years, because otherwise it just seems a bit of a waste that I've got all this stuff that I've learned, and you guys might as well benefit from that. If nothing else, you'll know what not to do. Anyway, so this invalid traffic glitch popped up, my channel is decimated. There's no point in me making any more videos until I've actually resolved this problem. So obviously the first thing I've done is I've researched it, and I've researched it to the nth degree. I've read all of Google's support articles about the problem. I'll tell you more about that later on, because the advice given in those articles was largely non-applicable to YouTube channels. I think it was more written aimed at kind of advertisers on websites and things, because it's talking about clicking on your own adverts and things. Like, how can I even do that? That would be insane. What, watch a video 1,000 times and every single time click on the advert to get, what, a penny per click if I'm lucky. So yeah, the notion of that in itself is just obscure. So I raised a support call with YouTube. They were basically of no help whatsoever. I have no idea to this day if I was speaking to a bot or an actual person, but all they did was copy and paste stuff out of the articles that I'd already read, and then at the end of it all they said, is there anything else I can help with? And it's like, no, you haven't helped with anything at all. It needs to be escalated. And they couldn't escalate it. They got us to fill in a random form for the AdSense team, but all of the questions on the form didn't really relate to a YouTube channel, so a lot of the questions made no sense, but I filled it in and submitted it anyway. To this date, I've had no communication back from the AdSense team. And since then, I've come across a lot of other YouTube channels who are experiencing these problems, 3 of which I'll give a shout out to. These people have all gone to the trouble to actually make a video to warn people about these problems and hopefully try and get YouTube to take note, because at the moment, I'm really at a loss as to what I'm supposed to do. I've tried contacting YouTube support on Twitter and they just tell me to keep going back to the main YouTube support that I've already used, who basically said they couldn't help. Anyway, I'll include links down in the description to Tasha Custodi's video, Homestead Horsemanship, and Brennan Valesky. Thank you to all of you guys for actually bothering to put a video together, but I'm sure there's many more creators who are experiencing this problem. But yeah, so we've got this thing where we've had this error, invalid traffic. What it's effectively saying is that we are clicking on our own videos or watching our own videos or watching the adverts that are on our videos to generate invalid traffic to boost our channels in some sort of way. And as I say, the notion of that is insane, because the effort that it would take would never be worth A, the risk, and B, the revenue that you would get from it. And apart from anything else, if we were doing that, you should see a massive spike in viewer numbers around the same time that there was a spike in revenue, and that spike just isn't there. I've gone through everything in the analytics to try and get to the bottom of what's caused this problem, and viewer numbers have been all hovering around the normal kind of figures. There was a tiny spike in revenue, but I couldn't explain what that is. All of the revenue is controlled by YouTube's back-end systems because it's a bidding contest for advertisers to put their adverts onto a particular video or onto a particular niche or whatever. I don't know how that works, and I'm certainly in no control over who clicks on my videos or who clicks on the adverts that happen to be on my videos. So as an advertiser, you should be very concerned about this, because this is a perfectly legitimate channel, and I'm assuming the channels that I've listed are all perfectly legitimate channels as well, otherwise they wouldn't be making videos about this problem. And you basically can't advertise against my videos anymore because everything has been kind of chucked down to the bottom of the YouTube pile, where I'm assuming I'll just get kind of generic adverts about things that aren't relevant to my channel anymore. I've no idea. And this is the thing, I'm so in the dark about what's actually going on. I've heard nothing from YouTube. Literally, I've had no correspondence back from the support ticket I raised. I've heard nothing back from the AdSense form thing that I filled in. And the only thing I've heard via X or Twitter is basically a response telling us to go back to YouTube support. There is nothing I can do. Now, the only thing that I can find in common between my channel and the other 3 channels that I've listed is that we're all in that kind of small to medium tier of YouTube creators kind of size. So 10,000 to 100,000 subscribers. It takes a lot of effort to get to 10,000 subscribers, and it takes an inordinate amount of effort to get to 100,000 subscribers. I've already got nearly 250,000 subscribers on my Gosforth Handyman channel that a lot of you will know about. And so far on that channel, I've made coming on for 500 videos, and they're nearly all long form videos. A lot of them take maybe 2 weeks to make. So yeah, there's got to be some sort of payback for the effort it takes to make this content. And if the content's of value, then advertisers want to advertise against that content to promote their product, which is great. It's kind of a win-win situation. Make good enough content, you'll get good enough advertisers wanting to advertise on that content. But it's not the Gosforth Handyman channel that's had the problem, although we'll come back to that later on. It's specifically this channel, which at the time of recording, I think is just beyond 25,000, 26,000 subscribers or something like that. And all of the channels that I've mentioned are kind of in that remit. The other thing that I've spotted, and I think this is more relevant to the problem, is that I think all of the channels that we've mentioned are going to have relatively high CPM values. In other words, because we're making content that is high value, it's quite niche content, then advertisers are prepared to pay more to advertise on our channels, significantly more than the likes of, for example, gaming channels or review channels and things like that. So obviously on this channel, I'm making videos about small business advice, bank accounts, finance, tax, basically everything to do with running a small business in the UK. That's all quite high value content. Tasha Custodi makes a lot of really good videos about tech, especially on the Google side of things as well. Homestead Horsemanship makes videos about horses, which again, I would guess that any of that kind of content is going to be relatively high CPM. And Brennan Valesky makes videos about finance and business, again, high CPM channel. So I think there's some sort of bug in the YouTube algorithm, because bearing in mind this will be largely AI driven, completely out of the hands of human beings being able to intervene in how this is controlled. I very much doubt there's very much input from heuristics to say what's going on. So if this is all AI driven, there's clearly a problem with the AI code that's identifying smaller creators in a high CPM niche and flagging them for invalid traffic, which they're not getting. But you know, it could be that I've just got one video that happens to have a really high CPM, a few extra people have watched it, and then advertising revenue goes up significantly compared to the amount of views I'm getting because it's a high CPM video. The other possibility as well, but I think this is less likely, is that obviously I have to click on my own video occasionally to edit the pinned comment, but that's only going to happen maybe once or twice a year. I very rarely edit the pinned comment on a video, but if the AdSense system is marking that as invalid traffic, well, that just shows a fundamental misunderstanding of how YouTube works, because I'm not aware of any way that I can add a comment or edit a comment, for example, the pinned comment that I would want to put on a video. I'm not aware of any way of doing that without watching the video. I have to click play, hit pause, add the pinned comment or edit the pinned comment, and then that's me done. So is that viewed as an invalid view? I have no idea. But obviously that's not my fault. There's no other way of editing the pinned comment. As I say, I don't think that is the problem, because that would generate only a handful of clicks. And if that is what's caused that, then that is absolutely shameful. But I have no idea, because YouTube won't tell us what's going on. As I say, I'm completely in the dark. If you do want to help spread the word about this, because bear in mind, if you're a full-time YouTube creator, this could hit you at any time. Oh, and to add insult to injury, YouTube have basically said on a support article that my entire AdSense account is in jeopardy. So that means, for example, I've got 4 YouTube channels and all of them feed into one AdSense account. So you kind of can imagine the AdSense account as being the bank account of YouTube. And if you've got lots of channels, you basically point them all to that AdSense account, and the AdSense account collects the revenue from the advertisers and distributes it to the creators. And YouTube have said that that AdSense account might get shut down. Well, that would affect my Gosforth Handyman channel that has nearly 500 videos on and 250,000 subscribers. So at the moment, I'm nervous about making videos on any of my channels. This is really a perfect illustration of where there has to be a relationship between the customer and the company or the creator or the business. So for example, in my situation, I am the company, I am the business, YouTube is my customer. YouTube are effectively paying me via advertising revenue to make these sort of videos. So for any kind of business relationship to work, there's got to be some back and forth. It can't all be one-sided in favor of either party. And really, you've got to demonstrate some commitment on both sides so that you know you're serious about the relationship and that it's actually a relationship worth pursuing. I've demonstrated my commitment by leaving a perfectly well-paid full-time senior management job and going full-time on YouTube and creating everything in the back end to make this whole thing work. I mean, I literally built a studio in my back garden for making YouTube videos. So, you know, the commitment has been pretty heavy on my side for the amount of money that I make from this channel. So at the point that I have a problem with YouTube, I do expect to get maybe at least a response when I'm having a serious problem that isn't either from a bot or just copied and pasted from articles that are freely available on the internet anyway. At the moment, my relationship with YouTube is looking about 95% skewed towards the customer rather than the creator. And I can't in good conscience say that that is ever a good way to run a business. So to all new creators out there, be warned, things aren't looking good at the moment. So whether or not you're affected by this problem yet, you need to be supporting the creators who are. And probably the best way I can think of doing that at the moment is to repost or retweet the posts that I've put on my X or Twitter account. You'll find them on there, Gosforth Andy on Twitter. So just follow that account, repost it, even if you just reply to the comments, that'll just help more people to see it. But my account on X is tiny because I only set it up last year. Basically, I was on Twitter years and years ago, but it became so horrific, I deleted my account. In hindsight, that was probably a mistake because I had quite a few followers. But I do have a brand new account on X with hardly any followers, and as a result, probably no one's really seeing what I'm posting on there. Other than that, again, if you're a big creator, do you have a contact at YouTube you can actually speak to about this problem? Because, as I say, this could affect anyone. As far as I'm aware, you could post a video on your channel with 1 million subscribers, and if it happens to be a high CPM video, if that is what's causing it, then you could get this invalid traffic glitch, and worst case scenario, your AdSense account could be shut down, and that's it, game over for YouTube. And by the way, all of this has come just after I've spent the last 2 months fighting false copyright claims on my Gosforth Handyman channel after I signed up with Motion Array. I'm thinking of making a video about that later down the line as well, by the way. But yeah, on that channel, I started using Motion Array for licensed royalty-free music, and 12 out of my latest 16 videos got false content ID claims. It's been an absolute debacle, but that's a whole separate issue. So yeah, things aren't looking great for YouTube at the moment, I've got to be honest. Anyway, if you've got any ideas or suggestions of how to fix this, post it down in the comments below. If you want to get in touch with me directly and you don't want to post a public comment, perhaps you work behind the scenes at YouTube and you know what's going on, or perhaps you're a bigger creator with an account manager who knows what's going on, please do drop me a note directly. The best way to get hold of me is if you go to smallbusinesstoolbox.uk and you use the contact form on there, then I will see your message come through and I can reply to you via that. Anyway, I should be making a video about your backup regime and how to handle a backup strategy for a small business, but this has now taken priority and I can't release that video until this problem's resolved. So hopefully we'll get back to normal relatively soon. To be on the safe side, you might want to sign up to my mailing list. Again, you can do that via the Small Business Toolbox website, and at least then I've got some way of keeping in touch with you if the whole channel does end up getting shut down. But hopefully it won't come to that. For now, folks, as per usual, good luck on your small business journey and we shall see you next time. Tatty bye.